Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moments. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Throne of Steel episode number 150 based on novel. So let's start. Little White Flower? No way. Lin Xin immediately opened his eyes wide. After flinging his long hair to the back of his head, he gave Sima Yan a monstrous look. Not only him, but everyone else looking at Sima Yan became full of shock. They were all aware of the identity of the Little White Flower Sima Yan brought up. The future successor of the Alliance's great auction house, Feng Linga. Wang Yuan and Chen Yinga repeated Lin Xin's words almost simultaneously. No way. Just what kind of person was Feng Linga? That was the successor of the Alliance's great auction house. At the time she succeeds to the Alliance's great auction house, calling her the richest person in the whole Temple Alliance would be no exaggeration. Although the Great Auction House and the Alliance were linked in countless ways, even a mere supervisor has a frightening wealth at hand. Moreover, Feng Linga could be rated as a stunning beauty with traits evoking perfect purity. Who could expect Sima Yan to really succeed? Sima Yan showed an air of complacency. What do you call her? Can't be. This priest is handsome and confident, distinguished and elegant, sensitive, tall and proud. Although I am bald, my heroic martial prowess still attracted my woman, Little White Flower. The two of us are just a heavenly match, a successful couple. And we just love each other desperately. Ha ha ha. Han Yu placed his hand on Lin Xin's shoulder, and asked, don't you think this guy deserves a beating? Lin Xin nodded with extreme seriousness. Not only him, but everyone else other than Long Haochen and Zhong Fangfang started to rub their own fists and be eager to get into action. The smile on Sima Yan's face immediately vanished, wrapping his arms around his own bosom. You. What are you doing? Wang Yuan shouted, still not owning up to the facts. So you really want us to force the answer out of you? Don't. I'll confess, okay? Under the group's tyrannical abuse, Sima Yan immediately admitted defeat and let go of that air of complacency, declaring in good honesty, listen to me, that's how things are. Remember that I returned to the priest temple? During the start of the Holy War, only God knew whether there was still a future. Maybe I'd die while fighting in the southern mountain pass too. Hence I thought that I'd at least confess to her before that. At the time of departure, I sent her just such a letter, before throwing myself into the Holy War's battlefield. But to my total surprise, after some time, while immersing myself in arduous battles daily, she actually sent me a reply. Although she cursed at me through the whole letter, she urged me to survive no matter what. Therefore, I immediately gained in courage and my strength in battle soared. Who knows how many little demons I killed, and in how many demons' blood this gigantic ball of light got soaked. What a delightful experience. The appellation of disciplined priest is not for show. Get to the main point. Kia raised her sickle at the god of death, and showed a threatening face. Sima Yan hastily finished bragging. At that time, I didn't even dare have delusions of Little White Flower accepting me, but that was still a good start. As Hasdrug's bro taught me, you can only have a chance if you try. If I hadn't tried in the least, my odds of success would be 0. Then I wrote another letter, where I spoke about the situation in the mountain pass. From this point on, we started exchanging letters. To be honest, all those days I was fighting off demons on the southern mountain pass, but Little White Flower was the only one in my heart. This made me treasure my own life all the more. Still, what a strange thing, but even under those circumstances, my strength still grew very fast, and I wasn't in the least affected by the situation of war. This may be because of the ray shining on my heart. As we exchanged letters and kept discussing, I found out that Little White Flower seemed to have some interest in me. Then I strove harder, and when I came to mention that thing, she unexpectedly didn't refuse, and even spoke about coming to the southern mountain pass to look after me. He. And she really came? Lin Xin asked. Sima Yan replied with great complacency, of course. And she came several times. Didn't you teach me that picking up girls required one to be bold, careful and thick-skinned? The first time she came, she sneaked on top of the fortress and happened to catch sight of this handsome man killing the enemies with matchless heroism. What luck I had that time. Back in the southern mountain pass, a female mage alongside whom I was fighting had some interest in me. After beating back the demon army's offense, she rushed to wipe my sweat off, but that's when Little White Flower appeared. At this point, he couldn't help but display some lingering fears, evidently that was a terrifying situation. Or at least extremely awkward. Can you guess how little white flower reacted? Sima Yan asked, full of mystery. Lin Xin replied, is there even a need to ask? You must have received a huge slap, gotten cursed as scum, and then she just went away. Sima Yan replied in disdain, do you think everyone is as narrow-minded as you? My little white flower is modest and open-minded, full of guts. When I saw her appear suddenly, then take notice of that girl on my side, let alone feeling awkward, at that time I was looking for a hole to dig myself into. Even fighting a duel against a demon god would feel better than the situation of that time. Chen Yinga giggled, then didn't it turn out as his drugs bro said? Sima Yan was somewhat helpless, stop insisting on that standpoint okay? Just listen to me. In any case, at that time, I was really feeling numb, feeling even worse than when being caught by my teacher after making a mistake. But against my expectations, little white flower actually didn't get angry, but instead, she elegantly approached my side and took out a handkerchief, tenderly wiping off the stains on my face. Then she pulled my hand and said to that mage, thank you for taking care of my bald man. At that time, I was just standing there foolishly and completely blank. Just at this time, the demons launched another assault, and a demonic wolf was catapulted right towards us, aiming to chop at little white flower. At that time, I didn't give much thought, and hastened to pull her away and take the blade with my blade. Fuck, that demonic wolf was just really ruthless. His blade penetrated through my muscles, giving me a strenuous time pulling it out. I immediately used the gigantic ball of light to beat it to a pulp. Afterwards, little white flower told me that she originally planned on getting angry at me, but seeing me take the blow for her sake, she didn't have any more will to get angry. There's not much more to tell you afterwards, anyway, my bliss is for real. And you murmured, how could it go that way? Sima just succeeded like that? Sima Yan's proud expression came off again, how could I be unsuccessful? Let me tell you, I have now come to understand thoroughly that you cannot judge a book by its cover. Don't judge my little white flower by her delicate and pretty looks, or because of her looks of a wealthy noble girl. Fundamentally, she is not fond of pretty boys, but likes brave men such as me. Lin Xin pointed the gigantic ball of light, then, was this thing made thanks to the help of your little white flower? Sima Yan showed a smile, that's a matter of course. How could she not be worried about my safety? Moreover, I couldn't leave from the battlefield. On the first time she looked for me, she had the materials ready, then brought 3 blacksmiths from our temple alliance, asking them to reforge my gigantic ball of light. Its name did not change, but this thing gained much greater power than before. Saying this, Sima Yan lifted the gigantic ball of light up, and lifted his right hand. Immediately, the gigantic ball of light flickered in purple electric light once again. The purple light curling up inside was not very distinct, but the swelling fluctuations of spiritual energy were really intense. Sima Yan explained, the current gigantic ball of light is a weapon fully custom-made for me. A large amount of some alloy I don't know the name of was added to its main part. I don't know its name, I think it was some pure gold type of metal. Except for that, a lot of precious metals were used up to make the main part. And then, we had a conjurer's help to erect a magic array inside, using 6 magical crystals of lightning elemental magical beasts of the 10th rank. Little White Flower said that lightning elemental magical crystals are very scarce, that even in the whole Alliance's auction house, there are only this many reaching the 10th rank, all of which were used for me. By now the gigantic ball of light is much stronger than before. The godly purple lightning cannon, godly purple lightning incarnation were all self-created abilities integrated after its upgrade. Strong, right? Long Houchen, who was listening calmly all this time, remarked, from that, I take it that your spiritual stove of godly purple lightning should have evolved at least once, and doesn't have an excessive backlash. That should be related to the other piece of epic tier equipment on you, right? Sima Yan was much more well-behaved in front of Long Houchen, right? Boss is the most farsighted, to be able to tell out my deepest secret in a single glance. As he said that, he pulled open the upper part of his priest's gown, revealing his robust torso. Then came into view a scarlet red-colored light armor, glinting in orange color, visibly a piece of equipment of epic tier. This is the Scarlet Dragon armor. Little White Flower has said that it was made using a genuine Scarlet Dragon's abdomen with extraordinary methods. It has an extreme defensive power while greatly weakening all detrimental effects. Although it didn't have any boosting effects attached, it is especially fitting to me. At least 80% of the backlash of that spiritual stove of godly purple thunder is nullified, so this way, I can use it much more conveniently. And because of my frequency of use, my endurance toward the spiritual stove of godly purple thunder is increasing unceasingly. Taking the forest boa pills made by his drugs bro as well as some thunder tempering training raised my external spiritual energy, which should at least be at 30 or 40,000. Lin Xin stared at these two pieces of equipment of epic tier in Sima Yan's possession and murmured, finding a wealthy wife is really a shortcut to several dozen years of struggles. Long Haochen glared at him. What did you just say? Lin Xin corrected himself with haste, following up with a smile on his face. Boss, I was just speaking without thoroughly thinking about it. Take it that you didn't hear anything. You must never repeat those words to Shina. My ability is acquired relying only on myself, unlike someone who lives off a woman, who... Sima Yan proudly declared, living off a woman is also a skill? How about you? Just look at your gigolo's appearance. Who would even want you? Wang Yuanyuan unhappily blurted, stop it with your quarrels. Listen to boss telling us what is going to follow next. Everyone calmed down, and looked toward Long Haochen. Long Haochen signaled the group to form a circle, then unfolded the map. The Yale province is there. And since Haiyue has been heading to the south since then, we are roughly there. Long Haochen pointed a spot. Our battle in Yale City will very rapidly reach the demon god emperor's ears. After all, we have just killed a demon god and destroyed his demon god pillar. What we need to do next is to move with the objective of not getting found by the demon god emperor. The demon territory is incredibly broad, even at the demon god emperor's cultivation. As long as we don't make apparent mistakes, he definitely won't have an easy time finding us, just like when looking for a needle in the large sea. Han Yu asked, then should we keep going like that, or rather stay concealed? Long Haochen visibly had something planned out, and declared, there is a golden opportunity in front of our eyes, but the risk is great. Listen well everyone, the demon god emperor's appearance in the Exorcist Mountain Pass is obviously due to the star demon god Visago's great prophecy. But we have gotten the information beforehand and managed to move a step ahead, thanks to Yu Yi's prompt information. As a matter of fact, Yu Yi brought us really accurate information, and the demon god emperor should need at least one more day before getting to Yale City. Our safety is, for the time being, uncompromisable. Since Yu Yi's information was unmistaken, her other piece of news should very possibly be trustworthy too. Hearing that, Kia's eyes lit up. Are you speaking about the condition of the star demon god Visago after the Great Prophecy Technique? Long Haochen nodded, indeed. The Great Prophecy Technique is something we have seen before too. When used in battle, it has extremely terrifying effects. That star demon clansman we have encountered in the illusory shrine should be someone with Visago's bloodline, very possibly the next star demon god. But even such a powerhouse in the star demon clan just died while using Great Prophecy. This means that alongside its massive power, it has an extreme backlash. As the demon prophet, Visago had to predict our future tracks as well as the demon's future, expending far more power than the star demon of that time. So he very possibly has no more than a third of his original force. The head from our Night Temple Yang Haohan has told me before that among the 72 demon gods, the most dangerous outside the demon god Emperor Fengxiu is the star demon god Visago. The demon god Emperor is their leader and emblematic figure, their object of veneration, while the star demon god is their brain, no less than a prime minister. And the moon demon god Agos is just as much the top general. In degree of importance, he's far from Visago. Yet the peak of a star demon god, I'm afraid his spiritual energy reaches the terrifying level of 500,000, something we can't even imagine disposing of. But if he only has a tenth of his strength, and is hidden inside Modu capital city, we won't necessarily be without a chance. Hearing Long Haochen, the group couldn't help but gasp. Their captain actually planned on attacking the third-ranked demon god, star demon god Visago. This was something they wouldn't even dare imagine before. Long Haochen continued, that's just a suggestion. If we head to Modu, it should be going totally against the demon god emperor's expectations. He should by no way expect that we dared head to his nest. As for the star demon god Visago's condition, we can take Yu Yi's word for a fact. The star demon god is surely still very strong, but even so, his powerful abilities will require of him a good enough state of cultivation and body. With our team's current strength as well as Haiyue's suppression on demon gods, we should be able to match a fifth of the star demon god's strength with no issue. Which means that, even if Yu Yi's report was somewhat exaggerated, we still don't stand no chance. But if we move against the star demon god Visago, the degree of danger will be immense as well. After exposing their fields of dominance, Long Haochen took another point of view. His analysis had to prioritize the possibilities of danger, and mustn't show blind hopes. First of all, Modu Core City is the demon's real core location. Which means that in normal times, most of the demon's strength is gathered in the core city. All the top demon gods, the Moon Demon God, Star Demon God of Death and Hell Demon God, are defending this Modu city. These 4 demon gods are not present for now, and there is not even any other demon god besides the Star Demon God in Modu, but this doesn't mean there are no forces in the city. Surely everyone must question one point. Since Modu is empty, won't our senior demon hunters surrounding it be moving against the capital? I estimate that they shouldn't, for the simple reason that they have no understanding. More importantly, our predecessor demon hunters were unaware of the goals the Demon God Emperor and Star Demon God had when departing with a large amount of demons, so how could they do that? The Demon God Emperor's threat to the Alliance is just too much. If I am the one bringing a group to deal with him, and in case we notice some movements from the Demon God Emperor, I definitely follow him to make things clear. Then, if he really plans on moving against the Alliance, I'd go against him with my life at stake. So the chances that these advanced demon hunt squad move against Modu are not high. In the meantime, although Modu Core City has lost the protection of a large amount of demon gods, the 5 greatest demon clans are still residing there. Also, the Demon God Emperor has left, but cannot possibly have brought all the demon gods along. Just think, if you were a demon god leaving your nest, wouldn't you at least leave a capable subordinate behind to command the troops stationed there? So I can say with certainty that the Demon God Emperor, Moon Demon God, Star Demon God of Death and Hell Demon God have all left at least a subordinate at the 9th step to keep watch. And very possibly not only one, in particular the Defying Devil Dragons, the Demon God Emperor would at least leave a third of his clansmen there. My safest estimate would be that there are at least 20 powerhouses of the 9th step in Modu Core City. Hearing Long Houchen's analysis, Lin Xin couldn't help but show a demoralized face. Boss, in that case, do we even stand a chance? We can't possibly be able to deal with 20 demon powerhouses of the 9th step. Long Houchen showed a faint smile. This is just our best opportunity. Since we don't even believe that we could deal with that, how could the Demon God Emperor expect us to head for Modu Core City? Wouldn't that be akin to walking right into the trap? He surely doesn't expect us to overestimate our abilities like that. But for this very reason, I believe that we must go and look for a chance to inflict heavy losses on the Star Demon God. Seeing the skeptical looks on his comrades' faces, Long Houchen continued, take the time to think about it, everyone. What's the current state of Modu City? The Holy War is ravaging outside, and most demon powerhouses are away. Although some forces of all 5 greatest demon races are stationed, they are far less than in Modu's normal times. In that situation, it is far easier than in normal times for us to penetrate in the city. In the meantime, without the Demon God Emperor, Moon Demon God of Death and Hell Demon God, and only a very seriously wounded Star Demon God Visago resting in seclusion, there won't be any mental scouting beyond our resistance. If we suddenly bring havoc in a certain spot in demon territory, even if it's the demon capital, they won't be able to gather enough peak demon powerhouses to take care of us in a short time. They will at least require some time. It is not as if there is no line of command in the demon clans, but we are not aiming at the devil dragons, their rulers. Kia said, I can understand your intention. If we leave for the capital city, it will first go against the Demon God Emperor's expectations as, if he definitely doesn't expect us to dare go to Modu, we won't have to worry about the Demon God Emperor. And next, if we move against the Star Demon, we will at most have to face the attacks of the powerhouses the Star Demon clan left behind. The other clans won't be able to make it in time. And if it succeeds, we can just leave through the Eternal Melody before getting surrounded by the demon powerhouses, even if we have to remain secluded inside the Tower of Eternity for a long time. This way we avoid getting tracked down and wait for an opportunity to leave Modu stealthily. Long Houchen nodded with a smile. That's basically the idea. Kia remarked, then there are 2 issues. First, as the Star Demons have yet to participate in the war and the Star Demon God is heavily wounded, their Star Demon Palace is surely very tightly guarded. There's no way one of the top 3 demon clans would be so easy to deal with. At least, at our current level of strength, there's no way we can resist them. In those conditions, how could we deal easily with the Star Demon God? Secondly, since the Star Demon God is in seclusion and very weak, even if we attack the Star Demon Palace, he only has to stay concealed in his seclusion. How can we find him then? After all, we won't have a long time for that. Long Houchen responded, yes, these are the 2 issues we will have to confront. Let me tell you my idea. Kia is right regarding the Star Demon's power. We cannot possibly proceed the same way as we did with the Panther Demon Palace with our current strength. The star demons are incomparable with the panther demons in terms of strength. But we don't necessarily have to enter by force. We don't even have to focus attention on the star clan. What is the clan sharing the greatest relationship with the star demons? Everyone should know about that. Wang Yuanyuan understood rapidly. The Moon Clan? Boss, are you saying that we should attack the Moon Clan first in order to create a diversion? Every one of them was intelligent people, which is why the idea went through rapidly. Long Haochen made a thumbs up to Wang Yuanyuan. That's right, it's exactly what I was planning. If we can launch a forbidden spell against the Moon Demon Palace, it will not only be the Star Demons, but all Modu's powerhouses will be focused upon the Star Demon Palace. That will be our opportunity. Maybe this chance will be of short duration, but the forces in the Star Demon Palace will surely be at their lowest. This will make a good opportunity for us. And furthermore, after entering Modu, we will contact Yu Yi firsthand, and be able to understand the inner condition of the Star Demon Palace, giving us a good chance to infiltrate. The second issue Kia noticed is the easiest to deal with. I have never spoken of killing the Star Demon God Visago. Indeed, it is very likely we will not find him, but don't forget, everyone, that we have Haoyue with us. Haoyue may be unable to find a demon god, but finding a demon god pillar will be no issue at all. So in my opinion, we should not target Visago, who surely has a lot of ways to ensure his survival as the number 3 demon god, and will be extremely hard to kill. Our greatest advantage compared to other demon hunt squads is that we can destroy demon god pillars. Just think, if we can destroy the Star Demon God's demon god pillar or damage it severely, how will that affect him? At this point in Haochen's explanation, the eyes of the skeptical group lit successively. Right, why would they absolutely need to confront the demon gods with force? They just had to target the demon god pillar. And according to Long Haochen's plan, if they can stealthily come close to the demon god pillar and let Haoyue break out, even Visago himself would very hardly manage to save it. Given Visago's heavy wounds, even if he appeared in time, he won't have an easy time stopping the group. Long Haochen's look was swept at his comrades. These are my thoughts. Now let's debate on that, everyone. Please raise any suggestions that come to mind. Although this plan feels completed like that, entering Modu will after all be extremely dangerous. Even with the Eternal Melody's teleportation ability, our safety cannot be fully guaranteed. So we will make an attempt only if everyone unanimously agrees. If only one person opposes, we will take another path. I have a second plan, which would be to make an indefinite trip through demon territory, wreaking havoc in demon territory without need to kill a demon god every time, but just to make sufficient inconvenience for them. A pretty good target is the Andros province. Surely everyone remembers about that province where we previously killed the devil snake demon god Andromalius. The Andros province is certainly the most bustling place in all demon territory. Because the demons are obtaining most of their resources from the sea, if we can reach there and wreak destruction, the demon will surely sustain extreme damage. Their supplies will have even more difficulties, which will be of considerable benefit to appease the Holy War's crisis. These two plans taking place around Andro province surely have greater feasibility, and are also much safer. The only issue is that as the Andro province is a lot closer to us, just eastwards from the Yale province, and we would only need to go through one more province, it will make the probability of the demon god emperor going after us quite a bit higher. Without a doubt, the most audacious of Long Haochen's two plans was the first one, to target the demon prophet, Star Demon God Visago, and go through perils in Modu capital city. Simply an astonishing plan. After Long Haochen spoke, a short time of silence followed. Their next course of action would relate greatly to their dedication to the Temple Alliance and circumstances. Being careless was a no-go. Long Haochen was also considering the feasibility of the two plans. By leaving for the Andro province, the danger was visibly lower. Even if the demon god emperor had dispatched another demon god to be stationed there, they wouldn't necessarily have no way to deal with him. At least they didn't have to worry about their safety. But if they chose to go for Modu core city, the variables would be much more numerous. No one could predict the encounters they would make there. If one were to compare the potential results, the first one was undoubtedly the best. Although they had already destroyed two demon gods, these were after all lower-ranked demon gods, only able to shake their roots without much impact. But the star demon god Visago was not the same. He, the moon demon god, and the demon god emperor formed the three greatest big shots. Although they formed a set of 5 with Saminaga and Marbaz, the other two's power and utility was at most reflected in their clans. But Visago was not the same. As the demon prophet, his utility was immeasurable, acting as the true greatest help of the demon god emperor. If they managed to destroy the star demon god's demon god pillar, shaking the demon's roots, the demon god emperor would be pained to no limits. This would be an immense blow for the demons. Although this would make them chased from all sides, this would be the start of the path of the demons' destruction under their hands. Long Houchen was internally tormented, unwilling to expose his comrades to an excessive danger, but in the meantime, this was a one-in-a-lifetime chance. How could it put him in a tangle? Boss, let me say two things. The first one to respond was Sima Yan, who didn't have the least of his previous playful look. In these serious times, he really showed a resolute face. Only, his glowing shaven head ruined a bit of this atmosphere. Boss, I find that plan acceptable. That's exactly what braving danger for the sake of riches and honor is. There's no time to lose when an occasion shows up. The second proposal you gave is also pretty good, but that's just some available tasks that we can take at any time. On the other hand, on Modu Capital, good opportunities are really scarce. Maybe we won't ever have such a chance in the future. And furthermore, we have Princess Yu Yi as our informer. After entering in Modu, we can just make the whole situation clear before moving. With the eternal melody there for teleportation, we can leave the battlefield at any time too. There will surely be some risks, but as the demon hunters we are, is there even a time without risk? Even in Andros province there's a chance of running into the demon god emperor. We exist for the sake of the alliance, for humankind's fight. Danger is nothing. A man should die in the battlefield, buried in a horse hide. Sima Yan's speech was impassioned, and his eyes, filled with violent thirst for battle. Wang Yuanyuan followed and said, I agree with Sima's words. A chance is showing in front of our eyes. A path devoid of danger is impossible, but when did we ever fear danger? We have even gone through the Holy War. If we can destroy the star demon god's demon god pillar, we will be humankind's heroes. This will also be the starting point of demonkind's destruction, making us deserve the name of bright glimmer of hope. Lin Xin responded, let's go for it. Since the day I joined our demon hunt squad, I made the resolve to follow you, boss. I will aim wherever you point. In those years, Long Houchen went as far as to abandon choosing Kia for him, even if this had to arise a misunderstanding between Kia and him. This was a matter Lin Xin didn't raise in normal times, but in their hearts, this was a favor he had kept engraved deep in his memories. Kia looked at Houchen softly, and showed a faint smile, even if it comes to the worst, I will just be dying at your side and no more. Long Houchen wrinkled his eyebrows, don't talk drivel. We will all survive, and see together that day when humankind defeats demonkind. He seemed to be rebuking Kia, but looked at her with an extremely emotional expression. Chen Yinga shrugged her shoulders, showing an indifferent face, I also agree. I really like it the most when it's lively. When I was young and grandfather asked me about my greatest desire, I said that I wanted to turn Modu Core City into a home for my summoned beasts. I surely won't give my approval to take such an opportunity. But boss, you have to promise me that if I die in battle, you will deliver Yang Wenjiao back to the Alliance on my behalf. Now only Han Yu and Zhong Fangfang had yet to declare their position. Long Houchen finally looked at the two of them. Han Yu made a wink, boss, there's no need to look at me. Are you forgetting that I am your retainer knight? I will go wherever you go. Zhong Fangfang imitated Han Yu's intonation, Houchen, there's no need to look at me. Are you forgetting that I am Yuan Yuan's guardian knight? I will go wherever she goes. After he said that, Lin Xin and Sima Yan whistled silently and Wang Yuanyuan turned red, glaring fiercely at Zhong Fangfang, who acted as if he saw nothing. Actually, Zhong Fangfang still had apprehensions, but he was, after all, not a genuine member from Bright Glimmer of Hope. Since everyone already made their resolve, how could this outsider spoil all the fun? Moreover, Wang Yuanyuan already approved and his words were still sincere. Even though the danger was extreme, he preferred to face it alongside Wang Yuanyuan rather than hear grievous news a short time later. Long Houchen didn't think his comrades would all so delightedly follow his first proposal full of danger. Taking a deep breath, he responded, in that case, let us make a careful analysis and plan out for the worst-case scenario and extremely thoroughly. Modu Core City, Moon Demon Palace. Yu Yi slowly opened her eyes, letting out a light sigh. As the spiritual energy in her body circulated, her whole body let out a dark purple ring of light. As a character with both human and demon blood, she enjoyed a lot of exceptional advantages. Her body and way of thinking was more inclined towards the human side, while she was blessed with the cultivation talents and attributes of a moon demon. Ever since Bao disregarded her safety for the sake of killing Long Haochen, she had been calmly staying in the Moon Demon Palace after returning to Modu, only controlling the Yu Yi merchant group remotely. These 2 years, her frame of mind had gained a lot in serenity compared to the past years, and her cultivation grew at an extreme speed as well. Although the abilities she was born with weren't as overwhelming as the great majority of other demons, a human physique gave her future growth potential far above ordinary moon demons. The moon demon god liked this daughter the most, and not just because of Yu Yi's beauty, but also because of her exceedingly high intelligence. The overwhelming majority of the moon demons couldn't compare with her in this aspect. For example, although she had the moon demon god's support, step by step Yu Yi was able to establish such a large association of merchants from the age of 15, already showing her extremely brilliant innate skills. The dark purple halation disappearing slowly, Yu Yi's back lit up once again, with a quarter moon's shape, flashing 3 times before disappearing. Being favored by nature as a moon demon, and cultivating in this place second only to the Demon Emperor Palace to the darkness attribute users, Yu Yi's cultivation finally broke through the 8th step after 2 days of steady cultivation. Speaking of which, she felt thankful towards Long Haochen. Precisely because of her anxiety due to him, the spiritual energy in her resonated exceptionally. Boldly taking this opportunity, she broke through the 7th step's bottleneck, entering the 8th step. Compared to ordinary moon demons, her innate talents towards various aspects were much more outstanding. At the same 8th step, she was confident in defeating any of these clansmen of similar cultivation as her. Finally, the fluctuations vanished completely, and Yu Yi's eyes returned slowly to a dim purple color. Her eyes revealed an expression of secret reluctance, as she let out a light sigh and thought aloud, he should have already escaped by now. Based on the news from the Exorcist Mountain Pass, he received my information immediately after arriving in the mountain pass. At that time, His Majesty was still over 2 days away from there. With such a long time to adjust, he should have already left. Father's attitude toward me is quite strange, as if he already has some suspicions. Now should be my last time helping you. Long Haochen, you're on your own now. I hope that we won't have to cross paths again in the future. Although she was still unable to forget the scene of Long Haochen resisting the demon hunter remover's attacks on Kia's behalf, she had finally cut off some of her feelings in those 2 calm years. As the intelligent person she was, why would she keep reflecting on a matter she knew to be impossible? She already had some new goals now. Be it a human or a demon, everyone needed a goal, else they would otherwise live aimlessly. This was especially the case for an intelligent person such as Yu Yi. She needed to shift to another object of interest in an attempt to move on, which is exactly what she did. Floating, Yu Yi exited from the secluded room. Outside was a small garden, full of a specific plant, around a rock in the midst of the alley leading to the garden. That was a small flower of dim yellow color, not considered extremely beautiful, but seeming noble and proud. It had no leaf and let out a rich fragrance, but with some coldness mixed in its perfume. Yu Yi felt close to this moonlight flower. She actually didn't know so far what the most important thing in her eyes was. Some time before, when she felt extremely exhausted due to the Yu Yi Chamber of Commerce and extremely thirsty for experiencing a love story of her own, at that time Long Haochen appeared. That was the time of their first encounter. When her merchant group got attacked jointly by demon armies and Yu Yi was wanting to give up, he came and saved her from the desperate crisis, leading them to rush out from the siege. Starting from that time, Long Haochen had already left a deep impression on her. In Yu Yi's heart, her loved one could only be a human and not a demon. So, in actuality, she didn't love Bao. Long Haochen with his heroism, bravery and chivalrous character attracted her deeply. So from then on, she felt a strong interest for this knight who was much younger than herself. Afterwards, this interest came to grow with their repeated encounters. And when she came to see Long Haochen risk his life for Kia's sake while Bao did not spare her from being sacrificed, Yu Yi felt great pain, but also a strong thirst that came along. How would things be if that man was willing to do that much for my sake? These feelings disturbed her for a very, very long time. And then, a long time after the start of the Holy War, she came to realize that the two of them were from 2 different worlds, and were therefore an impossible thing. Maybe she could strive a bit harder if he did not have such a lover, but now that was just impossible. Yu Yi had even once had the thought of taking the path of subjugation. What if one day she could become a powerhouse of the present age, go kill Kia, and forcefully subdue Long Haochen? That was the next solution she came up with. So she gradually buried her thirst for a love story, but never came to regret falling for Long Haochen. Although these errors came to nothing, this at least created a thing in which to invest her efforts and energy. The man Yu Yi, fell for is just that outstanding, no one else can compare with him. She was already putting all her efforts somewhere else, and for that, a top priority was to raise her cultivation. A rich fragrance of flowers escorted Yu Yi as she slowly left the courtyard. At this time, she felt the same as a queen, and now, she had her own goal. After she left the courtyard, Yu Yi's expression was already back to normal, calm, warm, with the looks of a remarkably beautiful frail princess. "Your Highness, your dinner is ready," a maid came to her side and said. Yu Yi gave the instruction to allow no one to enter the courtyard, but was never demanding. All she needed were 3 meals a day, only to better back her cultivation. As the princess of the Moon clan, she originally lived a pleasurable life. Yeah. As she was prepared to take her meal, her look wavered slightly, looking at the direction of the entrance. Although she was a princess, her living quarters weren't very large, and at her cultivation level, she had a very strong awareness of the surroundings. As expected, another maid came rapidly. "Highness, a viscount has come looking for you, presenting your tile." A viscount? The maid was without a doubt speaking about a viscount from the Moon clan. Yu Yi's unwavering stance suddenly broke, and a look of astonishment came to her face. "It can't be him, Please let him in." Doing her utmost to calm herself down, Yu Yi suddenly realized that her hand was shaking severely. She didn't even know herself whether she hoped her guess to be correct or not. A short time later, a person in a deep purple cloak came in under a maid's lead. The cloak was hiding his whole body, but he visibly had a man's figure. Slightly lowering his head, he made it impossible to see his facial appearance clearly. An indescribable sense of familiarity arose inside her. Although she couldn't see his looks, Yu Yi narrowly cried out in alarm, unconsciously stepping back and arousing looks of vigilance on the maids' faces. That person raised his head and lifted the upper part of his cloak. "Long time no see, Your Highness." With his handsome and flawless looks and the golden hair neatly draped over his shoulder, if there could be said to be only one flaw to that appearance, that would be the eyes. That pair of purple eyes specific to moon demons seemed to create a slight disharmony in that face of perfect handsomeness. "Is that really you? Why did you just come?" Although Yu Yi had guessed that it could possibly be him, she was still filled with unbelief when she really saw him face to face. Indescribable feelings surged in her as she turned completely pale. Long Haochen looked at Yu Yi with a smile. After over 2 years of separation, this Princess Yu Yi had grown even more beautiful, appearing even more noble, and seemed to have a new charm she didn't have before. Her pair of purple eyes were filled with shock. "So? Am I unwelcome?" Yu Yi was, after all, Yu Yi. After a short time of shock, she immediately came back to her senses, restraining her shock and waving her hand. "You may leave." The maids left with doubtful expressions, and only Long Haochen and Yu Yi were left in this hall. "Come with me." Yu Yi rapidly stepped forward, taking Long Haochen back to the courtyard. Her heartbeat was still rising higher, and deep inside her, an indescribable feeling of excitement arose. Maybe this encounter was just that thrilling. Very rapidly, she brought Long Haochen back to her secluded cultivation room, pulling him into her room before shutting the door. Leaning against its door, Yu Yi gazed at Long Haochen with a look of unbelief. "How could that be you? Just why did you dare come here?" Yu Yi was unable to keep down the feelings of shock in herself, shaking quite a lot as she spoke. This video will end here.